Welcome to the Defense and Aerospace Report. I'm Vago Muradian here at the Paris Air Show in Le Bourget, just outside the French capital, where our coverage is sponsored by Bell and Leonardo DRS. And we're over here at Elbit Systems, or I should say Elbit America, to talk to Bob Edmonds, who's a Senior Vice President with the company. Bob, great seeing you. Thanks very much. You gave us a little bit of a tour inside your Visionplex a little bit.
Right.
You guys are on, have all of the advantages of being part of Elbit, which is increasingly a global company. So it's not, it has its roots obviously in Israel, but you guys operate as an independent company in the United States, developing your own technology and feeding it into Elbit more broadly and around the world, but increasingly becoming sort of a first-tier exporter in your own right. Talk to us about the global growth strategy you guys are using, where increasingly Elbit America will be able to export around the world, even to American allied Arab countries, for example, with an ease, for example, that the rest of Elbit wouldn't be able to do.
Sure, Vago. Thanks for the opportunity to tell you a little bit about where we're going. We're on a great growth pattern at Elbit America, and we have sort of three lines. We are looking at the increasingly large fighter market. In the next 10 years, some predictions are up 20%, probably the best fighter market. And so we can leverage our positions that we have on just about every fixed wing fighter between our avionics and our helmets and our sensor fusion capability. And then the second part of that is driven by the new national defense strategy in the U.S., where you really have to have much more capability. The allies have to be part of it. We're going after a threat that's out there with the near peers. And so it's a recapitalization that's occurring. And what's tied to the third piece is the international market of FMS. So we have a strategic position in the Elbit Systems of America to go after that international FMS market. We've always been tied to it with our OEMs and the things that we do with the large FMS buys. So Alpha and F-15 on international sale to Saudi Arabia will be with Boeing as the OEM. But increasingly we're having direct prime contracts that can come through Elbit Systems of America using the FMS process.
You guys, obviously the helmet-mounted display on the F-35 has been a great technology generator, and you've adapted it to a whole variety of systems, whether ground vehicles. We looked at some fascinating, you guys have the Universal acquisition that you did, so congratulations on that. And that opens up a whole new market for the pilot interface, especially not for combat aircraft. One thing to have a helmet mounted, but for transports and even, and it's a lot of commercial technology. Talk to us about that acquisition and how that's potentially game changing, and give us a sense for the size of the market you're trying to address with some of these better vision systems for pilots to increase situational awareness.
Sure. What's unique about Elbit Systems of America is that diverse portfolio that we have as part of a global company. And we've increasingly invested in Elbit Systems of America so that we have much more capability to sell into the U.S. market and do it in a way that's part of an integrated system. So the core piece, if you get a Universal acquisition, for instance, which brings in some very good technology and capability on the commercial side, and then we can use that as a stepping stone and a leverage point out back into the military market, and then do so broadly as a company. Some of the things that we're looking at are total system solutions. So it's not just a helmet-mounted device. It's not just the avionics or the large area displays, but it's that combination where we can put that together, integrate it all into a total system solution for the advanced pilotage or advanced next-generation cockpit. If you do that, then that helps meet the needs of the mission, because everything's connected now. Multi-domain warfare, multi-domain operations, and so when you see that necessary need from our customers that they're drawing out very uniquely in those needs, we think we're in a unique position to do that, not only because of our technology, our innovation, but also because of being a U.S. company, being in the U.S., holding up subsidiary, that you can now, with the U.S. government, can use it for the FMS market for countries around the world.
But Universal also is a leader in the commercial marketplace. That indicates that you guys also want a broader commercial aircraft position, isn't it? Because the system that you have is easily retrofittable on any commercial airliner in order to be able to increase the situational awareness of the pilot.
Oh, absolutely, and we see that as foundational, and it allows us to spread across and create outside that military market into the commercial market. But in the aviation, there is the interconnectivity between the two, and so we see that as a good foundation that we can leverage going forward.
Talk to us a little bit about supervision. You were an F-15 pilot, and we were talking about the fact that just the display now has more computing power than your entire jet.
Yes,
Not to date any of us, but the F-15 is one of the most beautiful combat aircraft ever built. And I'm not just saying it because you're an F-15 guy. Although Todd Walter, we interviewed Magoo, General Walter.
Magoo, yes,
exactly, and it just so happened that as we were doing the interview, there was an F-15C over his shoulder, so he felt very much at home. Right. Shout out to you, Dave Deptula. Go F-15Cs as well. Talk to us a little bit about supervision, how that's kind of game-changing, also in terms of the displays, giving that extra situational awareness. I love the symbology on the system you have. That's very, very intuitive and very easy to use. Again, anything that reduces workload and you don't have to think, okay, here's this weird workaround. Tell us about supervision and sort of the market where you guys also expect to expand.
Well, thank you. That's one of our key areas is the increase in situational awareness, whether it's in the air or on the ground. You already mentioned it. And so we have some of the unique technology and capability to do that. And we think as the market is looking to connect pieces together in a broad sense throughout the airspace, you have to do so also in the cockpit for the next generation cockpit, the next generation pilotage, to increase this situational awareness in a way that allows it to reduce the workload. You said everything's higher technology, more capability, but we can do it in a way that says we're very good at avionics, we're very good at helmet-mounted devices, hence the F-35 helmet, large area displays, embedded training, the types of things that you can connect. Now, if you pull that together, supervision or just an integrated way where it's a total system package, it's a much better advantage, not only from a standpoint of the technology is integrated and you can reduce the workload, so the next generation cockpit is going to have a variety of things associated with it. Some is going to be off-boarded into UAVs that are part of the mission. You're going to have ability inside the cockpit where you might have capability that's associated with a virtual wingman, virtual co-pilot in a way. And so all that integration and the fusion of data in an open architecture way is something that we're very heavily invested in because we see that as the future piece and our customers need it and we're uniquely positioned to do it.
Bob Edmonds, Senior Vice President at Elbit Systems of America, otherwise known as Elbit America. Bob, always a pleasure. Thanks very much. Looking forward to seeing you back in Washington.
Thanks, Vago. Appreciate it. Good day.